Hello, Rob from Fountain Pen Journey with a review of the Wingsong 699 vacuum filling fountain pen. Now, I saw the reviews that Chris Rapp did on this pen many months ago, in fact probably more like a year ago now, and to be absolutely honest I wasn't really that interested. I think maybe the price put me off, something like that. And it wasn't until another fountain pen YouTuber, Wasky Squirrel, happened to do a comparison of the Pilot fountain pen that this so similarly resembles, but it isn't quite, and obviously these two pens are not in the same class. But I really like Pilot fountain pens. It's a new thing of mine. My fountain pen journey is constantly evolving and I do like them, and I was considering buying a Pilot fountain pen and happened to come across Wasky Squirrel's review of the Wingsong 699, and actually I thought, this sounds like a really good fountain pen. I'm going to have a look, see what I can find. Now, my wife was asking me what I wanted for Father's Day 2020, and in all honesty, my go-to response for any big gifts is always pens, or let me choose the pens and we'll go from there. And I actually really wanted one of these. So what I did, I bought one of these directly from Amazon, and because it came with sort of next day Prime delivery, Amazon Prime, we love it. And in all honesty, I could have paid a lot less for this pen and had it shipped from China. Maybe saved myself £10, something like that. But I bought this Wingsong 699 fountain pen from Amazon for about £24, something like that. And I'm glad that I did, because this is great. I have in some ways kind of grown. No, I haven't grown out of Chinese fountain pens. I still lust after them, still buy them. But this one had gone completely below my radar, mainly because I just wasn't particularly interested in buying a £20, $20 Wingsong fountain pen. But I recently started reusing my Wingsong 3008s, and I really love them. And I thought, you know what, maybe this would be a good purchase. So here's my review of the Wingsong 699. We'll talk about the various things first that this pen came with. And it comes with this Wingsong cardboard sleeve, which, to be honest, I actually think are quite good little boxes. We've got the Wingsong logo and writing on there. And in this box, you will find a sort of thing that the pen clips onto, holds it in the box, and some instructions. And I do like it that these pens come with instructions, because if you're completely new to fountain pens or the filling mechanism, things like that, these sort of instructions, like you get with the TWSBI Eco, can be really helpful, because it shows you how to use the pen basically. And it sounds like a silly thing, but yeah, it's helpful. So they're the instructions in Chinese, which in all honesty isn't particularly helpful. I mean, you could use Google Translate on your smartphone to translate that using the phone's camera, but I pretty much knew what I was doing with this anyway. So there we go. We've got the anatomy of the pen demonstrating different parts. So it basically shows you that it can be taken apart, and it does label the various components, but in Chinese. They are pretty self-explanatory, bearing in mind that this is a vacuum filling fountain pen. So we've got the cap, the nib, the feed, the section, the barrel, the filling rod with its various bits on the end, and some components, and the blind cap there. So more unfortunately in Chinese instructions here, and it actually gives you a very good diagram of how to fill this pen. And obviously the filling and cleaning system is exactly the same. You know, this is how you fill the pen, this is also how you clean out ink if you want to swap out inks or leave the pen unused for a certain period of time. So unscrew the blind cap, shows you which way to unscrew it. I'll use this as the example because I have done a video on how to fill a vacuum filling fountain pen, which I will leave in the description down below, so expand that and you'll be able to see that link. You'll see a piston a vacuum filling mechanism in action then. So anyway, you unscrew the blind cap, which then allows you to pull the rod up and down from the barrel. And what you need to do, it's kind of counterintuitive, is lift this thing out all the way, the rod out, all the way out of the barrel of the pen without inserting it into the ink. You would have thought that that draws up the ink, but it doesn't with a vacuum filling fountain pen. Then insert the nib and the feed into below the level of the surface of the ink, and then press down on this rod. So this plunger thing and this seal here descends through the barrel, and that actually is creating a vacuum inside the barrel here. And when it reaches, there's like a flange area down here in the barrel, when it reaches that, it pops down and basically allows the vacuum inside the barrel to suddenly draw the ink up into the barrel of the fountain pen. And that's it. It's a really fun, very efficient, fast way of filling a fountain pen. Really good filling system, which I actually really do like. And then once you've got your fill of ink, screw the blind cap down and you have a pen that's ready to write. So that is the nuts and bolts of it, the basics of filling the Wingsung 699. Let me, sorry, bashing the tripod there. Pop these bits back in the box, and there we go. Right, so let's have a look at the fountain pen. It is available in, seems to be 3 different colours. There's a absolutely colourless, clear, transparent demonstrator, which I know some people are going to like. There's this brown, it's like a smoky brown version, and there is also a dark blue translucent demonstrator, transparent in fact demonstrator. This is the brown transparent demonstrator version, and it's a good sized pen. I mean, it really is a decent size. It's quite, in some ways I think it may have done with a couple of extra millimeters on the barrel. I think maybe it's not a slim pen, but it just could have done with a little bit more girth in my opinion, but that's just me. So let's look over the pen. Well, it's a good looking, classy looking fountain pen, and it does look very similar to the Sailor pen that it is sort of similar to. Black plastic, solid coloured finial there with a cap ring, and there is this gold ring up here, and the clip has got this rounded teardrop shaped end to it, and the clip's pretty good. It's nice and springy. It's not overly tight at all. Good clip, decent enough. The cap does taper slightly, and we have this gold cap band. Now I do believe that there are some versions of this pen, the 699, with silver embellishments. So if gold isn't your thing, then maybe you'll prefer one of the silver ones. And we've got the engraved bits on here, which are absolutely unreadable to my eye. Looks like Chinese writing all the way round. Yeah, Anyway, so then the actual barrel of the pen, there is not much of a taper at all there. It is a pretty straight barrel, but it does taper slightly. There is this gold ring here. You will see inside of the barrel there, because this is a demonstrator. It's nice and dark though, which I do appreciate. And we've got this, I'm trying to actually these solid coloured finials on both the cap and the barrel there, they are actually a very dark brown, so they do actually match the pen. They are solid coloured though, there's no transparency there whatsoever. And I think it's a very nice looking pen. Feels good. The plastic is pretty solid, it's pretty good. I would say it's very good quality, but it isn't Sailor or Platinum, or it's one of those plastics that you go, you know what, this is obviously a Chinese pen for £20. It's not a Chinese pen for £2, but it's, it's substantial. The cap unscrews, one turn, two turns, almost 2.5 turns, which is, in my view, a little bit excessive, but it's no big deal. And this is a pen for writing with for long periods, in my opinion. Now the cap is, it is what it is. Plastic cap. I will say that this cap band, I would have preferred it if it had been protecting this edge, because this edge, it feels plasticky. I mean, you would have to go some to actually chip or break that, but it does feel like it could be a little bit vulnerable. It is a little bit sharp on the inside. I mean, it's not going to cut you in anyway, but it's not the perfect cap from that point of view. I'm trying to see inside it if there is any sort of cap liner. Yeah, there does appear to be a cap liner of sorts. We have got this two-tone steel nib. Now, these Wingsung 699 fountain pens always seem to come with fine nibs, and I would have preferred a medium nib in all honesty, but this fine nib, as we will see in the writing sample, is actually really excellent. So it's a decent sized nib, matches the length of the pen, and the pen fits really well in my hand. It's a good length, good girth, good weight. Section is the same dark brown plastic material. It's good quality. It feels really good quality. It's it's round, it's comfortable, nice to hold. There is a gold ring there, and these threads, which are really, really smooth. I mean, these, I could honestly hold this pen on the threads for a long time, and they are very, very comfortable, really comfortable. And there's virtually nothing I mean, it's straight into the barrel there. I mean, there is no step up or anything. This is comfortable. This is how threads on barrels and sections really should be. And we can see inside there the filling mechanism, the rod, and see the ink sloshing around. I was a bit at a loss to decide what ink to put in this, so I asked my wife, who's a crochet designer. If you haven't seen my penabling my wife video, I recommend you check that one out, because it is quite interesting. And I asked her, what, I'm really stuck, I don't know what ink to use, so we'll have a look at the ink shortly. Black plastic feed underneath, and I've had no issues with this pen drying out, hard starting, anything like that. The cap, the blind cap, sorry, you can unscrew this while it's filled, but I'm not going to mess around with the piston at all. And it's functional, does its job, great. So there's the pen in the brown version, and I really, really like it. In all honesty, I don't think I'm tempted to go for the clear demonstrator version, because I find clear demonstrators, and I'm sorry, this is just my own personal preference, I find them a bit uninteresting. And I'm not a massive fan of blue anyway. I mean, blue, saying that, I've got more blue inks than any other colour because I do like certain blue inks, but the blue version is just, it's a royal blue that just doesn't really float my boat. So let's have a look at how this pen writes. We'll be using a Rhodia pad. So unscrew the cap, and I will point out it does post. So just have a quick look at this pen. So there we are, unposted. Yeah, good length, good size, happy enough. Pen posts very securely and quite deeply. And there we go. Really, really nicely sized pen. It does go a little bit heavy around this sort of point here. Centre of gravity is not ideal posted, but I could write with this posted. It's not something that I generally do, but for the sake of this video, let's write with it posted for a change. So this is the, oops, there is a bit of a hard start there because I have been messing around with this. Wingsong 699 brown with a medium steel nib. That little skip there was me trying to find the paper. Jumps over the lazy dog. No, it's not a medium nib. What am I talking about? This is a fine steel nib. I'd say it's for a fine medium wetness. However, this ink, this is, in my view, a little bit of a dry ink. I've used it in various pens since, can't remember when it was, maybe December 2019, and it doesn't really perform very well, but in this fountain pen it writes really, really well. So this is Organic Studio Uranium, which is a nice green. It's quite a, I suppose, British railway green almost, a little bit of yellow in it perhaps. And this nib really, really, really does lay down the ink quite well, especially for a fine. I mean, this is very, very good. There's no pressure there, and I will squeeze a little bit more out. That's as much pressure as I would like. So you can get more ink out to give yourself a little bit more line variation, but this, yeah, it's a steel nib. It's quite stiff, but it's smooth. Really, really smooth nib, especially for a fine. Really happy with this, and it writes really, really well. So let's have a look at reverse writing. And what do you guys think who like seeing reverse writing? It's gone from a fine to an extra fine, maybe even an extra fine, and it is very smooth. This is a nib or a fountain pen that you could quite happily write with like this or draw with like this really, really well, and I am absolutely blown away with how well this nib writes. This is an excellent fountain pen. £20. I know I paid over the odds for this on Amazon, but I wanted it quickly. I wanted it, you know, pretty much next day because I was desperately trying to pick Father's Day gifts from Amazon, which when it comes to fountain pens isn't always easy, and it's worth every penny of that. you can buy it for £16 from China, thereabouts, in the different colours, and £16 for the Wing Song 699. Absolutely, yes, definitely worth it. I'll just uncap it a minute and we'll do a little bit more squiggling. I honestly cannot say anything bad about this pen. It is really, really reliable. It does a great job. Absolutely fantastic fountain pen, well worth the money. This isn't just a generic Chinese cheap fountain pen. This is Wing Song. I like their nibs, I like how they write, and this pen, quite honestly, the Wing Song 699, definitely gets a big old thumbs up from me. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you found it useful, and I shall see you next time. Bye.